Memphis fans, Westport, 4-Star Sports Media. Hope everyone's doing well. You're sitting down at the Tigers Den, one-stop shop for all things Memphis Tigers. And as we get started, we've got to take a look at what's on tap, and that's presented by Athletic Brewing. Head over to athleticbrewingcompany.com now for more information on the nation's leading non-alcoholic beverage supplier from coast to coast, from Scranton, Pennsylvania to San Diego, California, and at every Walmart in between. Athletic Brewing keeps you poured up without being buzzed up while watching sports. But it's presented to you by What's on Tap as we talk about tonight what's going to be on the show. We're going to start with volleyball. We'll start with women's soccer. Then we'll get into women's golf. We'll talk volleyball. We'll talk softball. We'll talk Memphis Tiger men's tennis. We'll talk men's golf. And then we will get into Tiger football to close the show. Thank you to everybody watching and listening as we're presenting a live feed of this show now. Sorry, I've got sports going on the TV behind me here. I apologize. As we're still watching football live tonight. Of course, the Tigers fall tonight 31-24 to UAB. We'll talk about that game as we get closer to the end of the show. But let's start with women's soccer as they have a big clash on the road tomorrow at East Carolina, slated for 11 a.m. Central Time as they hit the road, number 6 in the country. Tigers are 12-0-2 on the season, 6-0-1 in American Athletic Conference play as well. They moved up 2 spots in the most recent United Soccer Coaches Poll, which came out on Tuesday, following 2 wins against a win against North Texas and also a win against Florida Atlantic. The highest ranked in program history is number 5, as the Tigers inch their way closer. They're right now at number 6 in the country. Last time they were ranked number 5, the highest ever, was in 2011. They are eyeing a third consecutive regular season championship. Memphis would need a win and other American Conference results to go their way to become the first team in the country to clinch a regular season title this year. Charlotte, who plays South Florida, and UTSA, who plays Tulsa, would both need to drop points in addition to Memphis winning to see the Tigers clinch a share of the title. To become the number 1 seed in the conference tournament and clinch the outright title, UTSA would need to lose in addition to Charlotte having a draw or losing. Interesting stuff there. East Carolina is coached by Emily Busila. She's in her first year on the job as she took over. Gary Hudgens, who had left the team, would head over to NC State. This matchup is going to be one to watch. With 112 wins since the 2018 season, Memphis ranks 4th among all schools in wins in the past 8 seasons. So when you look at Memphis women's soccer, as we start the Tigers Den campus coverage, as quick little score update, by the way, Utah currently leads BYU 14-10 with 14-11 to go in the fourth quarter as we continue to give score updates across the night of college football. We are going to talk Memphis college football. Don't worry, we're going to talk Tigers. Hard loss tonight on the road at UAB as they fell 31-24 on the night. But as we move over to women's golf, as we've spoke with the head coach, but they were over in Hot Springs Village, Arkansas. University women's golf team is going to play in its final tournament of the season as they take place in the Diamante Intercollegiate this weekend, as the Tigers are coming off second place finish at the Lady Red Wolves Classic, which took place over in Jonesboro last weekend. The Tigers will be one of 13 teams competing at the country club, which is a beautiful country club there in Hot Springs, Arkansas. The 2 seasons ago when Memphis competed there, the Tigers claimed a share of the 8th place while finishing 12th over par. Competing for the Tigers will be Swarthwood, Wilson, Gophert, and Clare. and Claire Todd. So Memphis will tee off tomorrow every 8 minutes, starting at 9:18 Central Time, and we will provide more information as the day goes in that golf tournament for the Memphis women's golf team. Coach Jennifer Jordan has done an incredible job over there, and we need to get her back on to talk more about this season as well. Let's jump over. Let's go ahead and spike over to Memphis women's volleyball. The Tigers would drop a 5-set match to Tulsa last night at El Marone Fieldhouse. The Tigers are now 10-12 on the season, 1-6 in conference play, and Tulsa moves to 16-3, 6-1 in American Athletic Conference play as well. How did it happen? Well, in the opening frame, both teams battled point for point until Tulsa took advantage of Memphis attack errors, and as they would take a 14-9 lead. The second set would mirror the first, as both teams battled back and forth. Memphis used a 3-0 run to pull ahead 11-8. Tulsa would respond in the third with a 3-0 run, 6-4 lead. But when you look at this Memphis team, they continue to grow. They continue to just inch better and better and better. This team reminds me a lot of the softball team last year, which we're getting ready to talk about. But if you watch this team play, you watch them play in years past, there's no quitting this team this year. These girls are continuing to fight. They're continuing to hit the floor. They're going after the ball. They're trying to make big things happen, and it's really fun to watch. These girls battle really, really hard for Coach Sherry Lindsay and the Memphis women's volleyball team. And they close out the weekend tomorrow, 1 p.m. against North Texas. The matchup will be on ESPN Plus, and yes, we will bring you more coverage on that. Speaking of events taking place, tomorrow there is an event taking place on campus as the University of Memphis will be hosting Jackson State as the Tigers come to town. They keep in mind NCAA regional participant Jackson State, also a team that Memphis knocked off last year in softball. But most recently, the Tigers on the 11th they traveled down to Alabama to take on the Alabama Crimson Tide before finishing up the weekend against Jacksonville State against the Gamecocks last weekend on the 12th. They continue to grow and glow in fall ball. They will finish it up. Last chance is coming up this weekend and next weekend as they face Jackson State tomorrow. Get out to the game. Be a lot of fun to watch. And they take on Christian Brothers next weekend on the 24th to finish up fall ball. All right, let's jump over to Memphis men's tennis as we take a look as the Tigers completed their round-robin play at the UTR Nashville as they finished round-robin play last night after a walkover in the semifinals. They were able to play really well yesterday in the round-robin. We will have more on their matchup in Nashville later on, but keep an eye on this Memphis men's tennis team. There's a lot of talent on this team that's going to be playing for postseason, for nationals as well. Let's jump over to men's golf real quick as the Tigers ready for the Quail Valley Collegiate Invitational as the men's golf heads south for its final tournament of the fall as they're coming off a 7th place finish at the Cullen Brown Invitational just a couple weeks ago, where Wang would claim a share of 4th place and Cian O'Connor would finish in the top 15 for individuals. Competing at Quail Valley Golf and River Club, Memphis will be one of 16 teams to compete this weekend, including American foes Florida Atlantic and South Florida. Both Wang and O'Connor, previously mentioned, will be joined by Toby Kim, Diego Lorenzo, and Christian Momau this weekend. The Tigers will tee off beginning at 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. We will have more on that as well. Tomorrow's going to be a busy day for Memphis Athletics. But speaking of Memphis Athletics and busy, you had a game take place tonight on campus. It was alumni night for Memphis men's soccer, as the soccer team will return to Billy J. Murphy's track and soccer complex as they this afternoon. But the Tigers will stand in the middle of the table with 6 points. As right now, this matchup is going to be very interesting as they took on Temple, currently ninth in the conference. But when you look at Memphis, they entered the matchup 3-6-3, 2-3 in conference play. They fell most recently, but prior to this game, to Florida Atlantic by a score of 2-0. When you look at the Owls came in 1-9 and 2-0-4 in conference play. They both most recently fell to Tulsa 1-0, but a pair of just incredible ball game. Memphis is now 4-6 as they got the win 4-2 tonight over Temple. That Temple now falls to 1-10-2 on the season. Big time goals. 2 goals by Miller Lashley and Saad Chiaki, as Lashley's 2 goals came within 2 minutes of each other in the first half before Temple scored late in the first half to cut the lead to 1. But big time win for Memphis. Tigers now sit at 9 points in American Athletic Conference play, pushing them into 5th place in the conference, and they are now tied with FIU. The Panthers own the head-to-head tiebreaker. Miller Lashley's 2 goals led all players in American Conference play this season. The freshman from Byhalia, Mississippi, is also tied for the team lead in total goals with 5 and points with 10. A total of 7 cards were issued in the match. For the Owls, they had the head coach was assessed a yellow. The associate head coach, was also assessed a yellow as well. Up next, the Tigers head to Springfield, Missouri to take on Missouri State on Saturday, October 25th. The match is set for 7 p.m. and will be broadcasted on ESPN+. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to tackle this Memphis game. It was a game that I know a lot of people aren't real happy about. We'll discuss that as well. But let's go ahead and take a quick break. We'll be right back, right here on the Tigers Den, presented to you by 4-Star Sports Media. Welcome back into the show, folks. Tigers Den, Wes Pruitt, your host, 4 Star Sports Media, is the podcast network you're listening to. For those of you that don't know who we are, let me go ahead and let you know. 4 Star Sports Media, head over to our website, 4star.live. That is where we compile all of our information, all of our podcasts, all of our websites. We've got photos as well. Madison Pinke, Catherine Owens, and John Sturtevant were all three down in UAB today, down in Birmingham, the game we're getting ready to discuss. And they did amazing work. The photo behind us, the photo on that graphic you just saw, came from Madison as she shot me that picture, essentially from the sideline today. But fun stuff today. Big win for UAB. 19,000, a little over 19,000 was the announced attendance today. The 22nd ranked University of Memphis Tigers would fall on the road to UAB 31-24 at Protective Stadium there in Birmingham. Greg DeWozier would lead the team with 74 yards on the ground, 114 all-purpose, one score, while Sutton Smith added a team-high 130 all-purpose yards. And after starting, quarterback Brandon Lewis would leave the game in the third quarter. We would see freshman A.J. Hill make his collegiate debut while going 13 of 25 for 175, including his first touchdown pass. The Tigers have now scored 20 or more points in 47 consecutive games. Dating back to the UAB game in 2023, they have now forced at least one turnover in 23 in the last 27 games. Memphis defensively, I thought, played pretty well. I think where this game was lost, and I'll get into some specific stats here momentarily, but you win the toss, you defer, you give UAB the ball. When you're looking at it from Memphis's perspective, I'm sure Silverfield and staff are going, okay, this is a new coach, new quarterback. They had to go pull high school film on this kid because he has no college film, because he hasn't taken a college snap. Entering the game, Memphis was only one of 7 teams to score on every red zone drive. That came to an end when Memphis would fail to score from the 11-yard line at the end of the fourth quarter. They're now 27 of 28 in the red zone this season. But you look at this ball game, you could hear it on the radio. If you listen to it on the radio, you could see it in the stand. I mean, I understand 19,000 in that stadium is not a lot. I get it, okay? By the way, Stanford currently leads Florida State 3-0. 4:31 left in the first quarter. As Florida State's lining up for a very long field goal. 57-yarder to be exact. But if you're Memphis, Silverfield said after the game the reason he put in Hill instead of Maiden is because he thought they felt like, quote, felt like Hill had a good week of practice. And while I understand that, I do question, and yes, for those of you that go, oh, Wes is just a big shill, he just shills out, he kisses everybody's ass. No. I analyze, right? I still question things. That's how we learn, is by questioning things. And my question is this. I understand he had a good week of practice. Thank you for answering the question. That's great. What about the experience? What about the fact that Maiden has been on the road? He's played in games. He has that game experience. Well, albeit not a lot, he's got more than the freshman. Now I'll say this: what I saw today, whatever out of Hill, I like. Now, do I think he's the starter moving forward? No. The rest of the year, no. You can't take the starting position from Brandon Lewis because Brandon Lewis got dinged up. That's not how that works. but the loss hurts. Now, is the season over? No. Everything's still in front of you. If you look at the schedule, you look at the standings, you look at everything around the American, plus you look at it from a national perspective, everything's still in front of the Tigers. But for Memphis tonight, they were exposed. Silverfield said they were outcoached. Silverfield said they were mad. He said they should be, and he's right. Now, so the fans out there saying, "Oh, you fire Silverfield, you get rid of him, he's a joke." Just stop. And you if you want to come at me, you can hit me in the comments right now. You can message me, whatever. I don't care. That was the first time UAB had scored in their opening drive of the game, in the opening drive of the game since week 2. And then you saw more as Memphis would waste no time as Sutton Smith would take it 99 yards to the end zone to tie the game. It was first career kickoff return for a touchdown for Sutton Smith. It was also the first career kickoff return for a Tiger for a touchdown since 2019 when Antonio Gibson did it against SMU. It was also the longest return by a Tiger since Chris Claybrooks did it in 1990. Did it in 2019 against Cincinnati. But the loss, while you don't want to lose, was bound to happen. And I know people out there will be like, "Well, Wes, that's not having confidence in your team. That's not." Look, I understand it's, and I don't care if this comment pisses people off. It's hard to win in college football. It's hard to win. Hogs Happy Hour popped in and said, "Not an excuse, but playing in front of an empty stadium on the road, it's tough, hard to get amped up." And to your point, they mentioned that today on the broadcast. Thank you for watching, by the way. It's a tough loss, but it's one that was bound to happen, and it's one that if it really had happened at the perfect time. And I understand there's people that are like, "Come on, coach, you had a bye week and you lost to UAB. You had a bye week and you lost to UAB, but it was a whole new." Mortensen had never been a head coach for a game ever in his life. The quarterback, like I said earlier, the quarterback, they had to go dig up high school film on this kid. Now, I want to talk about what I found to be the reason the game was lost. When you look at penalties in this game, in the first half, Memphis had 2 penalties for 15 yards. Through the third quarter, entering the fourth quarter, Memphis had 3 penalties for the game for 20 yards. But when you look at the fourth quarter, Memphis outgained UAB 202 yards to 123. But you know what the difference was? Memphis played undisciplined football. UAB had 2 penalties for 7 yards. Memphis had 5 penalties for 34 yards. And then defensively, you've got to be able to get off the field. You can't allow UAB to hold the ball for 9 minutes of the final quarter of the game. UAB had 219 yards on the ground, 251 through the air for a total of 470 for the total for the game. Memphis had 25 rushes for 119. It's an average of 4.8 yards a rush, 243 through the air. 60 plays, an average of 6 yards per play. Memphis did not win time of possession. UAB held the ball 35 minutes and 5 seconds compared to Memphis's 24 minutes 55 seconds. Both teams only had one punt the entire game. But for Memphis, you cannot play undisciplined football and continue to think that you're going to win games. I just said it. In the fourth quarter, they had 5 penalties for 34 yards. You can't do that. You can't do it. On the final drive of the game, Memphis had a false start penalty on the 1-yard line. Memphis had a second false start penalty on 2 false start penalties within 3 plays of each other. And then you had the delay of game. But on the final drive of the game, 3 penalties? It cost you the game. 2 of those penalties were came on the 1-yard line. One of which, the quarterback, the center, and the running back, all 3 jumped at the same time. They all went, Yes, it's a freshman quarterback. Yes, I understand there's going to be growing pains. There's going to be mistakes. Don't forget, Memphis fans, you just went through this with Seth Hennigan for 4 years. But to automatically drop everything in Ryan Silverfield's lap, it's a little bit of a knee-jerk reaction, a little bit of an overreaction. 6-1, everything's still in front of them. Everything's still in front of them. There's no need to just completely jump off the bus, or there's no need to completely throw somebody under the bus. And there's also no need to just completely escape the idea that Brandon Lewis is the starting quarterback of the University of Memphis. To completely just erase him from the picture because he gets hurt and because you see A.J. Hill come in and go 13-25 for 175, touchdown and interception. By the way, the interception was thrown into double coverage. But Ryder Burton, 20-27, 251, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. Once again, no one knew who the hell this kid was. And you actually saw multiple quarterbacks in the game, by the way. For UAB. The third string played as well. But when you look at Alex Mortensen, hey, hell of a win. Hell of a win. You got to give credit where credit's due. UAB got a big win. But if you're Memphis, you can't come out of the third quarter with only 3 points. You've got to score. You got to score. I understand your quarter. I understand the quarterback got hurt. I get that. And I'm not expecting perfection from a true freshman. It's not what I'm expecting. But the fight, especially at the end of that game, there was no quit in this football team. And as many people as want to bitch and moan about Ryan Silverfield and the staff and all this and whatever, if you're a Ryan Silverfield hater now, you've been a Ryan Silverfield hater the entire time, and no win is going to change that. Now, was it a game that you expected to lose? No. Does it suck losing the Battle of the Bones trophy to Birmingham? Yeah. But should it motivate you to go get that sucker next year? Hell yeah. And they got to bring it back to Memphis. But up next, it's the game nobody shut the hell up about this week. South Florida. And it's probably not going to be game day. So while everybody was going to be like, oh, it's Ryan Silverfield's fault we didn't get game day. No, it's not. Call me whatever. It's hard to win in college football on a consistent level, and this program's done it. Name me another coach in Memphis football history that has had back-to-back seasons of 10-plus wins. Put it in the comment section. Send it to us in a message. Do your research if you want to. Name another coach who has back-to-back 10-win seasons at the University of Memphis in the program's history. And then tell me why you want to fire that guy. Tell me why you want to automatically just throw a loss completely on his lap. The overreaction of people in college athletics now is absolutely laughable. There's no need to overreact like that. All across the country. There's no need to overreact like that. The problem is it's a higher level. The problem is previously you had boosters that would buy players. Technically you still do through these collectives. The problem is now you've got boosters that are making big money decisions for their football program because they're pumping money behind it, a la North Carolina, a la Penn State. So for all those people out there that want to complain about Ryan Silverfield and he's not the guy and blah, 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 tell me another coach who would have stuck around as long as he has and continued to win with the same common goal in mind. Because let me tell you something. He wants a conference championship, and it's still attainable for this football team. It can still be done. You just got to run the table. And if you look at the conference, it's not going to be easy. You look at the schedule, it's not going to be easy. You got Navy coming here. You got South Florida next week. It's not going to be easy. But if you can lock in, if you can let this loss fuel you and not let this loss turn into two, it can still be a special season. But thank you to everybody watching. Thank you to everybody listening. Before I close, I do want to mention something. So 26 years ago, 26 years and 9 days ago, a just horrific event happened in Birmingham, Alabama. As we would see, and we've spoken to him, but we would see Memphis defensive coach Reggie Howard break his neck in the Tiger game against UAB. After a long NFL career and now back to coaching, he returned to UAB and to Birmingham for the first time since that day as the defensive back coach. Now, albeit in a different situation, I want to shed light on that. Because even in a loss, you got to look at some moments that will be remembered forever from a game today in Birmingham, Alabama. So as we close, I just wanted to bring some light to a incredible man, a great friend of the program, a guy that I thoroughly enjoy conversation with whenever we have it, and that's football coach Reggie Howard. Been on the show a few times, but man, today must have been special for him and his family, and it was something that we here at Four Star Sports Media did not let slip by. So I think it's a great way to end the show. But appreciate everybody watching. Appreciate everyone listening. We'll be back tomorrow night with a full conference crunch as we break down college football all across conferences, as well as rink rats as we talk St. Louis Blues hockey and Arkansas Razorback hockey as they swept. They got the brooms out this weekend up here in Northwest Arkansas on the hockey rinks. But thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And as always, folks, go Tigers.